So if you're working with Linux, you know the command line shell isn't just some feature. It's your entire workshop. In this explainer, we're going to crack open that fundamental toolkit. We're not just going to talk about how it works, but really focus on how you can master it for your day-to-day job. Okay, let's dive in. First, we'll see why the shell is basically our command center. Then we'll pop the hood and see how the engine ticks. From there, it's all about the tools of the trade, choosing the right shell, mastering patterns, and directing data. And we'll wrap it all up with a killer interview cheat sheet so you can walk in and prove you know your stuff.
All right, first things first, let's get on the same page about why this matters so much. For any system administrator, the shell is where the real work gets done. It's not just some window with text. It's the central hub for everything: administration, automation, troubleshooting. Honestly, getting good at this, it's pretty much non-negotiable for any serious Linux role. Okay, so keeping that in mind, let's take a look at the actual engine of the shell. Understanding its fundamental cycle is the key to figuring out problems and writing scripts that actually work. And trust me, it's actually way simpler than it sounds.
You know, every single thing you do with the shell follows this simple 5-step loop. It gives you a prompt, waiting for a command, then it scans what you typed, expands any special characters, wildcards and stuff. After that, it hands the command off to the kernel, that's the heart of the OS, to do the actual work. It waits for the job to finish, and boom, the prompt is back, ready for your next command. This constant cycle is what makes both interactive work and powerful automated scripts possible. And right here, this is where all that theory stuff becomes a super practical tool for you. See, when a command messes up, the error message you get is a clue. It tells you exactly which one of those steps failed. Like if you see command not found, you know it failed during that execution step, but an ambiguous redirect error, that happened way earlier, during the scan phase. This is gold for troubleshooting on the job.
Okay, so not all shells are the same, right? So which one should you be using? Let's look at the options, because choosing a shell is like choosing the right set of tools from your toolbox for a specific job.
So, the big question is, which shell is the right one for you? Well, it really boils down to what you need. Are you looking for maximum compatibility, advanced features, or are you stuck working on some older systems? Let's break down the main contenders.
All right, so here's a quick rundown of the big players. Shell, the Bourne shell, that's like the universal language. It's simple, it's everywhere, which is why a ton of system scripts use it. But for us, for the modern sysadmin, Bash is our go-to. It's just packed with awesome features like command history and better scripting. You might still bump into Korn shell, KSH, on some old-school corporate systems, but really, for most jobs today, Bash is king. And this is the key takeaway, especially if you're in an admin, DevOps, or cloud role. Pretty much all your scripts, all your automation, they're written to expect either Shish or Bash. So getting really good at Bash is your safest bet. It's the most powerful toolkit for today's world. Okay, time to get our hands on our first real power tool, pattern matching. This right here is how you go from dealing with files one by one to managing thousands of them all at once. It's a game changer.
The idea here is really simple. Instead of painstakingly typing out every single file name, you just use these special characters to make a pattern. The shell figures out what files match. I mean, this is clutch for stuff like rotating logs, cleaning up data, and running big batch jobs. Let's break down the main tools you'll be using. The asterisk? That's your workhorse. It matches anything and everything. So ls*.log finds every single log file, no matter the name. The question mark is a bit more precise. It matches just one character. Then you have square brackets, which are great for defining a set or a range, like finding test1, test2, and test3. And finally, curly braces, perfect for grabbing a very specific list of files in one go.
Okay, listen up, because this is probably the most important warning I can give you. Wildcards are powerful, but they're just as powerful with dangerous commands like rm. If you mess this up, say you type rm temp star when you meant rm temp star, you could wipe out critical files. It can be absolutely catastrophic. So here's a pro tip, a great habit to get into. Always run ls with your pattern first. See what it matches. Once you're 100% sure it's grabbing only what you want, then you can run the same pattern with rm. Seriously, double check before you hit enter.
All right, on to our next power tool, I/O redirection. This is all about directing traffic, telling your commands where to get their data from and where to send their results, and maybe even more importantly, where to send their errors.
Okay, this is rule number 1, the thing you absolutely have to get right. A single greater than sign, that takes your command's output and shoves it into a file. blowing away anything that was there before. Gone. But 2 of them, that appends the output. It just adds it to the very end of the file. Mixing these 2 up is a classic rookie mistake that can make you lose really important log data.
So besides those, there are a few other symbols you've got to know. The pipe symbol, man, this is the heart and soul of automation. It lets you chain commands, feeding the output of one command directly into the next one. It's so powerful. Using toGreater lets you send just the error messages to a separate file, which is amazing for clean logs and debugging. And that 2 and 1 combo, that's the magic trick to get both the regular output and the errors all into one single stream, perfect for when you need to capture everything.
And just like with the wildcards we talked about, this power comes with a big warning label. Before you ever use that single greater than sign to redirect output, you have to be absolutely sure that the file you're writing to doesn't have anything important in it. I mean, it's like a silent killer of data. The shell won't even warn you. It'll just wipe the file clean.
All right, so you get the engine, you've seen the tools, now let's put it all together. Let's talk about how you can actually talk about this stuff in a technical interview to prove you are the real deal.
So, imagine you're in an interview, and they ask you this. Look, the interviewer doesn't want you to just recite a definition from a textbook. They want to know if you get why it matters, how it helps you solve actual problems. Now, a question like this is all about your hands-on, real-world experience. They want to hear you connect the dots. Talk about how you'd use it for a real sysadmin task, like, say, managing a mountain of log files or cleaning out old temp directories. And here's a big one. This is a core competency question. A huge part of being a sysadmin is dealing with logs and figuring out why scripts are breaking. I/O redirection is your #1 tool for doing that right. Okay, this slide right here, this is your interview cheat sheet. For the cycle, you talk about that prompt, scan, execute loop and how it makes both interactive work and scripting possible. For patterns and redirection, you connect them to real-world jobs like batch processing and separating out log files. And here's the most important part. You finish by talking about troubleshooting. Show them you understand the risks. Mention things like accidentally deleting files with wildcards or losing data with redirects. That shows you're not just a beginner. It shows you have real experience and good judgment.
So we've taken a deep dive into the engine and the most important tools in your Sysadmin Toolkit. But the real magic happens when you start combining these tools to solve your own problems. So I'm going to leave you with a question to chew on, something for your own workflow. Think about it. What's one boring, repetitive thing you have to do every single day that you could probably replace with a single clever command line? Find that task, automate it, and that, my friends, is where your journey to mastery really begins.